was not endorsed by the teachers, but that's okay.
Yeah, I just want to say that CTA does not represent all of the teachers, does the current for the Federation of Teachers, which I'm a member of. So don't feel bad that CTA has not endorsed it, because I'm not a member of CTA.
Well, I actually was pretty confident before I walked in the room that I wouldn't get the endorsement of the teachers, because there are 5 candidates for 3 spots. 2 of those candidates were previously endorsed by the teachers, and a 3rd candidate who got the last endorsement is a school teacher. So I knew walking in the odds were pretty long, but I am John Zaring, and I'm also running for the Castaic School Board, and some of you know me from my efforts as the campaign manager for Measure SA, which is the school bond that will provide the money which will get us our high school. I've been pretty involved in that issue for the last, going on 10 years now. Susan touched so well on the issues, and it's really hard to follow Christy because she's the real deal. But I will say this, and this echoes a little bit about what Christy was talking about. Our school board in Castaic is all Republicans, and I'm sort of viewed as the radical in the community because I campaigned for a school bond that they were all against. Personally, I find it, I want to be careful with the word I use, but I'm going to say unconscionable that school board members would lead an effort, and by leading an effort I mean campaign, to defeat a school bond. And that's what our board did, and that is what first motivated me to run for our school board. What encouraged me and finally catapulted me into the race was the state budget woes and what that's about to do to our district, what it's currently doing. It's not going to get any better anytime soon. And I think for the next 4 years, no matter who serves on whichever school board we're talking about, the choices are going to range from bad to ugly. So ultimately that's what pushed me into the race. But I am fighting, and Susan as well, a pervasive attitude in our community of isolationism. Castaic is perceived through the rest of our valley as being kind of not interested in what's happening and wanting to be left alone, except when when we're talking about our high school, then we're all full of piss and vinegar, as my mother used to say, being Pennsylvania Dutch. But the reality is, we can't, on the Castaic School Board, build that school. It's up to the Hart District, but our school board has been working against the Hart School Board. They don't participate in meetings, they don't communicate, and they've made it very difficult to actually get a school built. So while we can't control this issue, we can actually show leadership on this issue, and leadership is not being shown. So I just wanted to emphasize that, because I think it's very important that our school board worry about what happens to our kids when they leave our district. Now, what about in our district? We have 3 elementary schools and 1 middle school. One of our elementary schools just crossed the magic 800 threshold for scores for the first time. And we had a candidates forum the other night, and I made a comment that we as a district need to work harder to bring that school up. And I had a conversation earlier tonight, and I was told that I upset some folks from that school. I'm sorry for identifying the 800-pound gorilla in the room, but we should be able to get 3 elementary schools to a higher level of achievement. There shouldn't be a 50, 60-point spread between our best school and our worst school, and that's what we have. And when I say our worst school, I don't mean that it's a bad school or that the people there don't care or that the students there are unteachable. I'm just saying, by comparison, first to third, we have a big gap. And so one of the things that will be a main focus for me is overcoming that achievement gap. And then within our classrooms, within each of our schools, there are underperforming classrooms. And so that's something that I'm going to focus on. Obviously, we need to protect the classroom from budget cuts. That goes without saying. We're all fighting that fight. And I frankly believe that even the Republicans that are running in our district care about what happens in the classroom. But what I think overriding all of this is I'm coming back to standing against a school bond. For me, that's a big red flag. I just think that we need to fight the fight, as Christy was saying. We need to not allow emotion to overcome logic, which is something we do in Castaic. We need the rest of the Santa Clarita Valley to work with us in the next 4 years. If Susan and I are fortunate enough to get on the board, if one of us is fortunate enough to get on the board, I hope that when we come to the rest of the valley and say we're here to change things, there's a new sheriff in town, that the rest of the valley will welcome us. Because that's something that's important to me. Changing our perception, overcoming achievement gaps within our schools, protecting the classroom. Those are 3 very important things. And then also looking at programs that these days have no funding. Arts, music, all the creative things that make a child whole. So that's what I'm about. I doubt that many of you live in Castaic, because I think I'd know you if you did, because there's only 12 people in Castaic. But I do appreciate you listening. I do appreciate the support of this group and the other Democratic clubs here in the Valley. I'm not a career politician. You know, look at me, I'm wearing jeans, I've got an earring, I'm drinking a beer. You know, I have no delusions of grandeur. I'm not interested in becoming the mayor of Castaic. You know, this is what I'm running for. I'm running for those kids, and I hope that I can make a difference in their lives. And I thank all of you for your support. Carol, you're an unbelievable machine with those flyers. Minerva and Todd, your help as well. Truly appreciate it. Michael, everybody, you guys have welcomed myself and I think all of the candidates in a way that I really didn't expect, to be honest with you. I just want to say one last thing about the Hart District race. The comment was made by Christy accurately that all the candidates are Republicans. There is one candidate, though, that I think you guys need to look at. And I know that as a group you can't endorse somebody who's not a Democrat, and I understand that. But there is a candidate in that race who's a lot closer to the way we think than the way they think. She was a Democrat until a couple years ago. I think she made a blunder. She won as a Democrat on multiple occasions, and I think she made a big blunder realizing or looking down the road that she was going to run for Hart and felt that she needed to be a Republican to get elected. But there is somebody that will fight for the things that we believe in, and I would encourage you to look at Sue Solomon and look at her record and what she's done on the Newhall board, and I just wanted to say that. So if anybody has any questions, it's true I am bald, so don't ask that one.